The village of Hanasaki was nestled at the foot of Mount Fuji. Cherry blossoms rained down on thatched roofs. Rice paddies shimmered green in the sun. It was a place of peace and beauty, but a shadow hung over Hanasaki. The warlord Kuma had claimed the village as his own. He demanded heavy taxes. He ruled with an iron fist. In this village lived a young boy named Taro. Taro had a secret. He could talk to animals. The sparrows whispered secrets to him in the trees. The koi fish gossiped with him in the pond. Taro loved his gift. He used it to help others. One day Taro was playing in the bamboo forest. He heard a deep, rumbling sound. It seemed to come from the earth itself. Curious, Taro followed the sound. It led him to a deep, dark pit. Dark. Taro peered into the pit. It was too dark to see the bottom. He tossed a pebble. It seemed to fall forever. Then a voice boomed from the darkness. "Who disturbs my slumber?" The voice was deep and powerful. It shook the very air around Taro. Taro wasn't scared. He was used to talking to creatures. "Hello," he called back. "I am Taro. Who are you?" The voice chuckled. It was a sound like thunder rolling in the distance. "I am Ryu the dragon," the voice replied, "and I am trapped." Taro's eyes widened. A dragon? He had only heard stories about them. "How did you get trapped?" he asked. Ryu sighed. "It is a long story, little one," he said, "but know this, I cannot escape without help." Taro wasn't sure how he could help a dragon, but he couldn't leave Ryu trapped. "I will help you," Taro promised. Ryu was surprised. "You, little one? How can you possibly help?" he boomed. Taro thought for a moment. He knew he couldn't do it alone. "I know someone who can help," Taro said. He told Ryu about the old samurai who lived at the edge of the village. The samurai had been a great warrior in his day. Now he lived a quiet life. But Taro knew the samurai was still strong. Ryu listened patiently. When Taro was finished, the dragon said, "Very well. Bring me this samurai. If he can help me, I will grant you one wish." Taro's eyes widened. A wish. This could change everything. Taro raced back to the village. He found the old samurai tending his garden. His name was Kenji. Taro told Kenji about the dragon in the pit. He told him about the wish. Kenji listened patiently. He had heard the stories too, stories of dragons and their magic. But he had dismissed them as legends, yet he saw the hope in Taro's eyes. He saw the desperation. Kenji sighed. "Very well, Taro," he said. "Take me to this dragon." Together, the old warrior and the young boy walked back to the bamboo forest. The fate of Hanasaki village rested on their shoulders. Section 5. The Long Road to Kuma Castle. Kenji used his strength to help Ryu escape the pit. It was not easy. The dragon was large and heavy, but finally, with much effort, Ryu was free. True to his word, Ryu offered Taro a wish. Taro didn't hesitate. "I wish for you to help us defeat the warlord Kuma," he exclaimed. Ryu looked down at the small boy, his eyes filled with a newfound respect. "Very well," the dragon rumbled, and so began their journey to Kuma Castle. It was a long and perilous road. They faced many dangers. They crossed raging rivers. They climbed treacherous mountains. They fought off bandits. They fought off wild animals. Through it all, Taro, Kenji, and Ryu never gave up hope. They knew what they had to do. Section 6. Whispers of Rebellion. Their journey was not only fraught with physical challenges, but also with the need for secrecy. News of a dragon aiding a small village would reach Kuma's ears quickly, and they needed the element of surprise. As they traveled, Taro used his gift to speak with the animals. He asked for their help in keeping their journey a secret. The animals, sensing the good in Taro's heart and the importance of their mission, agreed to help. Sparrows carried messages between villages, warning people of Kuma's spies and diverting their attention. Deer acted as scouts, using their keen senses to watch for danger. Even the fish in the rivers played their part, creating distractions to confuse Kuma's patrols. With the animals' help, Taro, Kenji, and Ryu moved closer to Kuma Castle, their hope for victory growing with each passing day. Section 7. The Wrath of Kuma. Finally, they reached Kuma Castle. It towered over them, a menacing symbol of the warlord's power. Kuma was a cruel and ruthless tyrant. He was feared throughout the land. His soldiers were many, and they were well armed. Taro, Kenji, and Ryu knew that they were facing their greatest challenge yet. Kuma, alerted to the commotion outside his gates, emerged. He was a mountain of a man, clad in black armor, his face contorted in a mixture of anger and amusement. "A dragon, you say?" he boomed, his voice echoing across the courtyard. "And you thought you could defeat me with this beast? You overestimate yourselves!" He raised his hand, and the ground trembled as his soldiers surrounded them. The battle began. Kenji, with his years of experience, moved like a whirlwind. His katana flashed, deflecting blows and striking down Kuma's soldiers. Taro, small but quick, darted between the legs of the soldiers. He used his slingshot to disarm them and trip them up. Above them, Ryu roared, unleashing a torrent of fire that scattered the soldiers and sent them running for cover, but Kuma was unfazed. He laughed, a cruel, chilling sound as he charged towards Kenji. The old samurai and the warlord clashed in a flurry of steel. Kenji, despite his age, fought with the strength of 10 men. But Kuma was relentless, his attacks fueled by years of cruelty and greed. The battle raged. Taro, watching Kenji tire, knew he had to act. He called to Ryu, directing the dragon's fire towards Kuma. The heat was intense. It forced Kuma to retreat from Kenji, giving the old samurai a chance to catch his breath. Ryu landed with a crash, creating a crater in the ground between Kuma and the others. Kuma, enraged, turned his attention to the dragon. But before he could strike, Taro, emboldened by a surge of courage, jumped onto Ryu's back. He raised his voice, his words echoing across the battlefield. "This land is not yours to rule, Kuma. We will not be oppressed any longer." The soldiers, seeing their leader momentarily cowed, lowered their weapons. They had followed Kuma out of fear. But now, seeing the courage of a young boy and the power of a dragon, they felt a glimmer of hope for a better future. Kuma, defeated and humiliated, fled his own castle. His reign of terror was over. The villagers, hearing the news of the battle, emerged from their homes. They had lived under Kuma's tyranny for so long, they had almost forgotten what freedom felt like. But now, seeing Taro, Kenji, and the magnificent dragon standing before them, they erupted in cheers. They were free. Taro, the young boy who could talk to animals, became a legend. He was known throughout the land as the Whispering Boy of Hanasaki. Kenji, his strength and courage reaffirmed, became the village elder. He used his wisdom and experience to guide Hanasaki into a new era of prosperity. As for Ryu the dragon, he stayed in Hanasaki for a time. He helped the villagers rebuild their homes and their lives, but Ryu knew that his place was not among humans. He was a creature of the sky and the mountains. One starlit night, he gathered Taro, Kenji, and the villagers together. He spread his wings, their scales shimmering in the moonlight. "It is time for me to go," he said, his voice filled with a gentle sadness. "But know this, little ones," he continued, looking at Taro and the other children, "I will always be watching over you. And if you ever need me, all you have to do is whisper my name to the wind." And with a final roar, Ryu soared into the night sky, leaving behind a legacy of hope and courage that would forever be etched in the heart of Hanasaki village.